We trust our phones with pretty much everything. But what about a life or death situation? Well, today we're going to talk about the AI revolution, a revolution that literally starts with a 911 call and ends up right here in your pocket. All right, let's jump in. Okay, picture this. You're in the middle of the most stressful moment of your life. You dial for help, and an AI answers. Sounds like something straight out of science fiction, doesn't it? Well, it's not science fiction. Not anymore. This is happening right now, and it's happening because our emergency services are completely swamped. And frankly, they need a new kind of help, one that's finally logging on. So let's start right on the front lines with emergency response. We're talking about 911 call centers, and believe me, they are getting a massive and long overdue tech upgrade. So just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got the reality for so long. Overloaded dispatchers, way too many calls, and just a ton of human stress. But on the right, that's where AI comes in. It's like a super assistant that can help sort through calls, figure out what's most urgent, and really just take some of that massive pressure off the human operators. And that's really the whole point, isn't it? It's all about using these new AI tools to boost speed and cut down on stress right when it matters most. We're talking about those critical moments where every single second counts, and a little help can literally save a life. Okay, but what's actually powering all of this? I mean, for an AI to handle something as complex as a 911 call, it needs a seriously powerful brain. And that need has kicked off a total modern-day gold rush for the hardware that makes it all tick. And right now, the company at the absolute center of that gold rush is NVIDIA. I mean, they are just shattering all-time sales records for their AI chips. The demand it's just astronomical. And that alone tells you everything about just how massive this AI boom really is. And the ripple effect? It's huge. You can think of these chips as the engine for, well, pretty much everything. They're fueling the explosive growth of data centers, they're pushing the limits in the gaming world, and they're the power source for all those AI tools that are popping up absolutely everywhere. So, okay, all this cash is pouring into the hardware, right? But how do we get from that raw power in some giant data center to something that's actually smart and useful for businesses, and eventually for you and me in our own pockets? All right, let's start with a number that's kind of mind-blowing. 95%. That's the percentage of big corporate AI projects that have historically just failed. I mean, just think about that for a second. That is a huge amount of wasted time, money, and brainpower. But now a whole new wave of companies is jumping in to try and fix this exact problem. And that brings us to our next number, $25 million. That's the funding a company called Meser AI just locked down with one single mission to tackle that 95% failure rate head on. Yeah, their whole game is about creating trustworthy AI. They're focused on making these tools not just clever, but actually reliable, dependable. The end goal is to build AI that delivers real, predictable value so businesses can finally stop throwing money away and start winning big. And one of the biggest ways to do that, to make AI more reliable and way faster, is this thing called Edge AI. It sounds technical, but the idea is super simple. The AI brain work happens right on your device, your phone, your camera, whatever, instead of in the cloud somewhere. And let me tell you, that is a total game changer for both speed and privacy. A perfect example of this in action is Skychip. This is Malaysia's very first homegrown Edge AI chip. And this little piece of tech is designed to do one thing: bring faster, smarter performance right to the device itself. That means less lag and a whole lot more power for everything from your smart speaker to sophisticated robots. So, you want to see what this looks like in a real product you can actually buy? Well, check this out. This is the Claude Note Pro. For about $179, you get this super compact smart AI note taker with a battery that lasts all day. And its whole job is to automatically organize and beef up your notes for you right as you're taking them. And that right there is the big promise for us, the users. You just focus on jotting down your ideas, and the AI handles all the boring, tedious organization stuff in the background. It's not just about saving you time, it's about saving you brain power. But okay, as AI gets more and more powerful, and as it gets woven into every part of our lives, a really important question comes up. How do we make sure this stuff is actually safe? And that question brings us to what might be the next great frontier for AI. And there's this really fascinating, almost radical idea coming from one of OpenAI's co-founders. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's super powerful. What if all the big AI labs, the ones that are constantly competing, what if they started testing each other's models for safety? Here's the basic rundown of how that would work. So Lab A builds its shiny new AI model. But before they release it to the world, Lab B, their rival, gets to poke and prod it, looking for risks and weaknesses. This kind of teamwork would help them catch problems way earlier, which means the AI that finally gets released is going to be a whole lot safer and more solid. The really big deal here is the shift toward, collaborative safety. The fact that some of the top leaders in the AI world are actually pushing for this kind of cross-checking, that's a huge sign. It means they're serious about responsible innovation, and it tells us that the next generation of AI models will probably be built to be not just smarter, but a lot safer too. So think about where we've been, from an AI answering a 911 call, to the gold rush for chips that power it all, to smarter gadgets in our pockets, and even a new race for AI safety. It is crystal clear that this technology is reshaping, everything. So as you think about all this, the real question I'll leave you with is, which of these changes do you think will impact your life the most? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.